Okay, so here we are at 8 weeks with the Nano tank, and in my last video I've talked about a few different things, of course explaining more about what's up with the little tank out there next to the Aqueon, talking about my wife coming in, bringing some plants and some other stuff for me, so you can tell if you looked at the last video that the tank looks a lot different than it did then, and that's because I do have some live plants in here. And like I said, it's been like 3 weeks now with these guys. I think I've got them figured out. I've learned a lot even since that last video. I learned what these guys actually are instead of just guppies, because that's all they told us at the fish store. Oh, well, they're guppies. Okay, so did some research, found out what they were. By the way, those are Dragon Mosaic guppies, or Poecilia Reticulata, as I read on my computer screen. Pretty fish. The camera doesn't do justice to them, like the female especially. She just looks flat gray, but she there we got a flash. She got some iridescence in those scalies. So, and they're pretty, like they're tiny, but you look up close with their big scales, iridescence, and especially the male. The name's fitting. They kind of look like dragon scale kind of thing. So we've got some Moneywort in there, and we've got some Ludwigia, or the Rubin stuff, and a lot of white hair. Today I did a bleach dip in them because I've been fighting green algae in this tank. I think the Ludwigia is the culprit also, because I don't have no Ludwigia over here. No green algae. Ludwigia, lots of green algae. This tank looks a lot better than it did this morning. I've got a couple stones still sporting the green algae because I'm playing with some new lighting schedules, and I want to see how the green algae responds to it, so I didn't clean everything in there. So anyway, there's my fishes. Interesting thing too, while I was cleaning the fish tank today, I was pulling the pump. You notice now there's 2 fishes in here, and one's bigger than the other. That's because as I was pulling the pump to do a little bleach dip to get the algae off of it, out of this tank, inside the pump box was that little guy to the right, just swimming in the water in the darkness. And not sure exactly where she came from. She was born sometime. I'm learning more and more about these live bearing fish, which is cool, but at the same time it's kind of scary, because if she had birth again or spit out a couple more, I'm guessing that that's the only survivor, then she probably ate the rest of them. And sure enough, whenever I pulled the pump, it was right before I went to lunch, so I pulled the pump out of the box back here. I'll show you just so you see what I'm working with. Right back in there, and follow the tube down into the darkness. I seen her just kind of floating, like right here in the water, up in the top, looking at me. I was like, oh my goodness, where did you come from? So I pulled the pump out, left her there, went to the house to go eat some lunch, came back, and she swam through the little bulkhead there with the pump out, and was down here in the bottom of the tank just swimming around. And as soon as the big female saw her there, she started chasing her all over the place. So that's the problem with these live bearing fish, especially when their babies are so small in a small container like this. They will eat them. So if you want to have babies and grow up more fish, with these kind of fish anyway, you got to really pay attention. So we rescued, my daughter and myself, used a cup and a tube, and we kind of cornered the little baby fish in here, and we siphoned her out of the tank and put her in here with her sister. So she's tiny. And there's Una, she's the bigger one. It's Una and Luna, apparently, according to my daughter. Alright, so we have a lot of, was that Moneywort in this one. It's doing really well actually in this tank, which I don't suck the bottom very often, just clean the filter, and feed these guys like powdered fish flakes. And so far, I mean, everything's doing well with the exception of that other stuff. Can't remember the name of it. I said it's a bar copa too. A lot of you guys probably know what this is already. The one piece I've had that's doing okay is back here, and I haven't pulled him out and cleaned him in a while because I don't want to disturb the root structure. Because like I said, here's another piece that I pulled and cleaned, and it's struggling. That's a clone sitting right there, the Moneywort in the front. So yeah, the Moneywort's just going crazy. This is a good plant. I recommend it. And the other one too. It's a pretty plant with the purple leaves. The camera's not doing real good on coloring, but, and like I said, it's covered in white fuzz right now, so it'll fall off and the fish will eat it off. So yeah, this is what I got. Feed me, feed me, feed me. Yep, here in a second, guys. Oh, something else I want to point out that I did. Last thing. 2 things. This little filter fuzz stuff that my wife uses to make blankets for kids is a lot cheaper than buying the filter cartridges. And I got some bio balls and stuck back off in there to try to help with the whole ecology of the system I've got here. Nano tanks are not recommended for beginners, and I am a beginner. So far so good, because I'm just trying to treat, you know, everything like if it's not food or a fish, it needs to be a filter of some kind. And then there's the water. So more lighting, more filtration, the plants, everything's helping. Yeah, I'm excited to get some bigger tanks and go hunting for the live wild ones.